What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today we are checking out the Eachine Wizard TS130. It is a 130mm 3-inch brushless FPV racer, which is a scaled down version of the Wizard TS215 by Eachine. Now, I have done a video with some flight footage of this quadcopter very recently, and from that video, if you have already seen it, you will see that this quadcopter performs pretty good. Now, this quadcopter is awesome on 3S, and with a 4S, it has tons of power. Now, I actually prefer flying this one on 3S since it has more than enough power for what I do with it. So it is a squashed H-frame configuration with 3mm bottom plate and 2mm top plate. It also has this cool hydrographic transfer printed blue urban camel design, just like that of the bigger brother as well. Now, the first thing I noticed on this quadcopter is its top plate. It has just 3 screws holding it down, unlike the traditional 4-screw configuration, and it is showing a lot of the components that could get easily damaged if it gets hit from the side. But everything else is just as well protected like any other FPV racer that has the top and bottom plate configuration. Now, what I have on here are the Gemfan 3052 tri-bladed props, but the quadcopter came with these Dell Cyclone 3056 tri-bladed props. Now, they give you 2 sets, a clear set and a blue set, which I've managed to disfigure upon hitting some branches. Yeah. The motors are the Eachine 1507 4100 kV motors that are capable of handling 3 to 4S batteries, and the ESCs are the 20 amp 4-in-1 BLHeli-S Dshot ESCs with input voltage of 2 to 4S. Now, the flight controller is the Omnibus F4 flight controller with built-in Betaflight OSD. The target of the firmware is the Omnibus F4 SD, and it was preloaded with version 3.1.7. It has now been upgraded to 3.5.1. Now, the Vtx is a 40-channel, 5.8 gigahertz, 25, 100, 200 milliwatt switchable Vtx, and a single button is there to change the channel, the frequency, and the power output. But it also supports TBS Smart Audio, so you are able to change all of that stuff in the OSD menu as well as the PIDs with the transmitter, but you will have to set the UART3 port in Betaflight ports tab to TBS Smart Audio as the peripheral device, and you should be good to go. Now, the Vtx antenna is a whip style antenna that does the job, but you may want to upgrade it, and it is attached via an IPX connector. Now, the camera is the FOXEER Aero Micro Pro FPV camera. It is a 1/3 inch CCD camera with 600 TV lines and a 2.1mm lens. It is secured to the front standoffs with this 3D printed camera mount, which I think is just the best way to go. It came with a 5-pin harness, so if you want to make changes to it, you will need a joystick or one of those push-button controllers because it did not come with a controller out of the box. So this is a PNP version, and it did not come with a receiver. So a FrSky XM receiver was added, but it did come with the wiring harness pre-attached. So you will have to cut the wires to length and solder the wires to the receiver and find a spot for it. And I found that there was a lot of space behind the FPV camera, so I just double-sided sticky taped it to the back of the FPV camera, and the antenna is secured down with the help of a zip tie on the arm. Now, another zip tie is used to secure the Vtx antenna from flapping around, and the XT30 connector is also zip tied to the hind leg as well. It also came with this Velcro strap for the battery, but I took it off and replaced it with 2 thinner Velcro straps, one in the front as well, since there are lots of room for it due to the stack being located further back. And because of that, now there is more room for the FPV camera to be tilted to any angle without being obstructed. So I really like how this is all set up this way. So one thing I didn't like is the props that came with it, the Dell Cyclone 3056 tri-bladed props. It gave me a lot of vibrations upon throttling up than the Gemfan Flash 3052 props. So if you get this quadcopter, try out these Gemfan 3052 props and see if they make a difference for you. I really like it with these Gemfan 3052s. Also, these standoff screws, they just don't want to stay in place. So if you have some Loctite or something like that, that should help out a lot. So coming up next is a footage of a free flight at the park using a 3S battery, which I think I probably killed. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you again next time.